All right, on this episode of Dave's Cooking Show, which, by the way, Dave's Cooking Show airs every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. For you on the show today, we have Pig Dick Meatballs. And as you can see in the bowl, I already have a pound of ground pork. To that, I added a cup of panko. We're going to be adding 2 eggs to that, because you want to add the eggs because they're kind of like the glue that holds it together, especially when combined with the panko. Then we're going to want a 1/4 cup of freshly chopped parsley. And then we're going to want about a pound of Italian sausage. If you want this a little bit hotter, you can certainly add hot Italian sausage. Although if you really want it hot, you should probably add some peppers to it, because the hot Italian sausage is not that hot. Then the only thing you're going to want to do is grab the paddle attachment, and you're going to want to spin this around, mix this all up until everything is well incorporated. Always making sure to take time out to wash your hands, because, again, everything is contaminated. Okie dokie. So, because these meatballs are going to be served, I decided to go with about 3-ounce balls, but you could certainly do 2, 3, it doesn't really matter. And then you just want to roll these into balls and set aside. By the way, you should also be preheating your oven to 375 degrees. All right, now I will show you the next step. Okay, in a pot, you can kind of see I've got some olive oil. If you want it a little richer, you can certainly do butter. But I just decided to go with olive oil for this. And basically you want this pan heated up over medium heat. And you want to be pretty generous with the space you give the meatballs. And because all we're going to be doing is just searing them off. Again, you want some space to work with them, because this is where everybody fucks up on meatballs. They overload the pan, and then the meatballs break down. So you just want to sear them off, a couple of minutes each side. Then after you give them a couple of minutes, you can kind of start to see them turn a little bit and start to get brown and gray. Try to give them a flip to an undone sign, because you just want to sear these. You don't want to cook them. You just want to sear them so they maintain their shape, because what we're going to do is basically bake these in the 375 oven, and you'll have to do this in batches. I think it took 2 or 3 batches for me to deal with all these meatballs. So, in fact, I think it was 2 batches. So, you want to fry them off in batches, put them on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and then pop them in a 375 oven for roughly 15 minutes or until they register 165. If you want, you can cut one open, but 15 minutes is a pretty good indication, so 375 for 15 minutes. But do not make the sauce in a different pan, because you're going to want this, because we're getting a really good level of fond. All right, I'll show you what to do with that. Okay, through the magic of cooking show editing, here is basically what's left over. You've got that fond, that oil that's taken all that flavor, and we need to deglaze, because we want all that flavor in our sauce, not just burning on the bottom of the fuck damn pan. Now, you can do this with water, you can do this with chicken stock or beef stock, but me, I just like wine. And if it's for a tomato-based pasta sauce, for me, there's nothing better than like a nice Merlot. Where the fuck? There we go. So just a little bit to get that steam broken, and then you want to add, I don't know, about a quarter of the bottle. And then give this a chance to reduce a little bit. Just keep adding to your heart's content. You want this to reduce this a little bit. I think I reduced it by about a third. And then we'll be ready for the next step. Okay, first thing we're going to do is add one of those small cans of tomato paste. And then you want to give the paste a quick stir around in the red wine reduction. Kind of get it incorporated there a little bit. Then you want to take a 24-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. You know, the big-ass cans you see in every goddamn store. And add that. Give that a stir. Make sure it's incorporated. Okay, now this is really getting to taste, because now I'm adding the seasonings. This is about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. I think I added a tablespoon of basil, about a half a tablespoon of oregano, some red pepper flakes, pepper, of course. I didn't really add any salt because of all the salt from the tomato paste and the canned crushed tomatoes. Also, do add just a little bit of sugar, just a pinch of sugar to get rid of that tinniness. And then literally what you want to do is simmer this on a low heat and constantly taste it every so often. Because again, you'll need to adjust these to your personal preference. And do be careful with dried herbs, because they are twice as powerful as fresh herbs. And again, once it's in there, you ain't getting it out. So again, just taste this. I tasted this about 3 or 4 times before I called it good. And yeah, you'll have to probably every time adjust a little bit of pepper here, a little bit of Italian seasoning there, some basil, some oregano, whatever. Anyway, you're going to want to simmer this for, I think I did mine 45 minutes. I forget how long it took the meatballs were 15 minutes, but I decided to let them cool and rest. Don't worry, because the sauce is going to reheat up the meatballs, so don't worry about that. Okay, sauce has been simmering away, and it's time to add the meatballs. And I did learn an important lesson. When you're dealing with sauce and meatballs, triple the amount of sauce. I don't know what the hell it is, but these meatballs sucked sauce up worse than a fucking porn star in her first movie. Okay, so we're just about ready to serve. Here's some spaghetti I cooked. Again, the only thing I have to say here is make sure you take a minute off of the package direction. And gonna add some of our meatballs. And then just a little bit of sauce. And I know it doesn't look like much, but this was actually more than enough for this dish. And the meatballs were delicious. The sauce was delicious. So I do recommend it. So Pig Dick Meatballs. Oh, and I should go without saying, I did dust it with a little bit of pepper and, of course, Parmesan cheese, as you can see here. So, Pig Dick Meatballs. Done.